House Intelligence Committee releasing videos of Bill and Hillary Clinton's Epstein testimony from last week.
Madeline Rivera joins us live from Washington with the details. Maddie.
Good morning, Carly and Todd. Former President Bill Clinton, in his hours-long testimony before the House Oversight Committee, says he never witnessed Jeffrey Epstein sexually abuse or assault young girls. He also says he never saw the disgraced financier receive massages from young women or girls. The former president did acknowledge taking plane rides with Epstein initially for his work at the Clinton Global Initiative, but he says he did not think Epstein was interested in his work and, quote, tried not to overstay his welcome with donors.
I never witnessed during our limited interactions any indication of what was going on. I'm here to offer what little I know so I can do my part to prevent something like this from happening again.
Okay. Well, at least one of the survivors claims that you flew in a helicopter with Ghislaine Maxwell to the island.
Did you ever?
Ben, I did not do that. I've never been to that island.
Hillary Clinton, for her part, says she does not remember ever meeting with Epstein. There were several heated moments in her testimony. She got visibly angry, for instance, after learning Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert sent a photo of the closed-door deposition to influencer Benny Johnson.
If there are photos that are being released of the secretary as she is testifying, can you please explain how that
I'm done with this. If you guys are doing that, I am done. You can hold me in contempt from now until the cows come home. This is just typical behavior.
We will go off the record.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
So I would like to understand how that's permissible.
Before the hearing was...
It doesn't matter. We all are abiding by the same rules.
Yeah, a lot of fireworks there. Former President Bill Clinton was also asked about President Trump. Clinton says Trump never said anything to make him think he was involved in anything improper with Epstein. Clinton also says Trump told him he and Epstein had a falling out over a real estate deal.
Beep, beep, bye, bye, bo, bo, bum. Look at Molly now. Here she comes. Devil with the toothbrush, toothbrush on. She's the devil with the toothbrush on. Lord have mercy. Not too skinny, she's not too fat. She's a real some singer and I like her like that. The devil with the blue dress. All right. Go and sock it to me now.
I don't ever want to see that. Oh, there's so much going on. Man, I gotta tell you, when it rains, it pours. And ladies and gentlemen, it is a monsoon on this program. Have we caught Ilhan Omar in treason? Have we had enough? Have we finally had enough treason? Have we had enough insult to our nation? There are a lot of people out there that are literally setting themselves on fire. We're not going to be one of those shows. We're going to approach the current news cycle the way we always have, with respect to our commander-in-chief, with humility of things that we do not know, with asking questions that I think are our obligation, actually, as the American people, and with a firm belief that God is in control. We got to stop doing idiotic things. And that's what we're going to cover today on the program, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to make sure that we lock in the same way that we were describing yesterday, that we must get our own house in order. We cannot go about regime change wars in the third world while having infinity third worlders that are here in our nation as sleeper cells. We've already seen the deadly aftermath in Texas. If anything, on the war in Iran, and we're going to have a bunch of updates on that today, we're going to pray for our troops. We're going to pray for those service members who are putting their lives on the line for us, our nation, our leaders. It is our job, Romans commands us Christians, to pray for our government, to believe that our government and know that our government is instituted rightfully by God to wield the sword against evil men. Yes, the Ayatollah is an evil man. Yes, this regime are murdering bastards, genocidal. Yes, they have proven time and time again that they will slaughter American citizens They'll slaughter indiscriminately. It's kind of like it's a razor's edge. But we are, again, commanded in Romans to appeal to that government wielding the sword for the terror of evil men. So we're going to pray as Christians. We're going to lock in and be commanded, as it says in Deuteronomy. You know, I'm no Bible scholar, but I am a simple Christian. I do have access to the Bible. I can just go ahead and read it. As it says in Deuteronomy, one of God's first commands to instituting a nation in his presence is, be in control of the number of foreigners who come to your land. They will make you their slaves. If you do not control the foreign nations that wash upon your shores, then you will be their slaves. You mustn't allow them to take control over you. Well, what is that exactly? Boy, we're going to look at what Ilhan Omar has done. Has she committed high treason? It sure as hell looks like it. Ladies and gentlemen, we also have some remarkable footage from Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, shrieking and screaming and losing their minds. We have a locked in, totally locked down show for you today. Man, we said that we weren't suicidal and that we pissed off Hillary Clinton. Little did we know how much we did, in fact, piss off Hillary Clinton. No other show on earth, I think, will be able to enrage Hillary Clinton this much. We have the proof now on video. And also, it is our obligation to you. I think that it's these kind of like, I was talking with my pastor about this morning. These kind of moments weigh heavy because it's our obligation to be humble in these moments, to spit the facts, to not lose our heads, to not lose our minds, to not react overly emotionally. People are dying. Americans are dying. We saw this in a harrowing F-15, 3 F-15s shot down yesterday. These pilots surviving just just at the threat of their lives. Thank God they did actually survive and they ejected. But there are Americans that are in danger right now, and we are going to approach this with the support of those Americans. We're going to approach this with the belief that God has got our back, that God institutes the governments of men, and that we're going to win. That's how we're going to go about this. Stop freaking out. Stop losing your minds. Be clear-headed. Most importantly, pray. And I think that like when you do that and when you can take a deep breath and have like abiding calm in these kind of circumstances and just absorb, it's our job to inform you. That's what we're going to do on the show. That you can, like, if you can keep your head, you can clear, you're going to be able to see and manifest, inform, and to build coalitions so much better, so much stronger than people who like psychotically lose their mind on one side or the other of every conflict. People who like literally crumble before your very eyes. We're seeing a lot of that. We're seeing it on both sides, and I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it's a reflection, frankly, of a healthy spirit. If you descend into cursing and raging and frothing at the mouth, and I don't think that it's a reflection, frankly, of a healthy soul. We're going to do our best to hold the side up, right? And so I just, and frankly, to help our friends in the Trump administration, of whom we know so very well, in like constructive criticism where we see it. So that's it. I wanted to clear that up. I know that the chat was a war zone yesterday, and while I think that's very healthy, and I want that, I also hear you, and I want you to know like what we are going to set about doing on this show, on this platform, and with the platform that God's given us. So that's going to be our responsibility. It's going to be our charge to you. It's our obligation, in fact. The future of America, frankly, which is the only purpose of all of this. You've heard me bang on again and again and again about this, and here it is. I want a safe and secure and prosperous land for my children to live in. That is my major motivator. I see everything through that lens. I have 1 million kids. I'm blessed and overwhelmingly blessed. My cup runneth over. Do you have kids? Do you want kids? Do you have grandkids? Are you a great-grandparent? You want the same thing. That is our common cause. That's our motivator. Let's go walk in and go get the traitors today. All right? All right. That's what the show is about. Admiral Howard and Senator Ron Johnson will be joining the program. Two great patriots. My name is Benny Johnson, and this is The Benny Show. Maybe some other surprise guests as well. Okay. Listen, you all know that I wear the same clothes every day. The reason I wear the same clothes every single day is because, and why I do like 4 or 5 outfit changes, meaning the same t-shirt, the same black t-shirt, or the same little black jacket every single day, is because my kids will like rub avocado or rub yogurt or rub whatever on this. Like I have to change my shirt 4 times sometimes before I even get to the live show at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But there are moments when I do actually have to look like an adult, when I do have to dress up. State of the Union last week, take my wife out on a date. Mizzen in Maine, baby. This is who I trust to get me the slacks, the shirts, the fit in order to look like an adult, right? There's a reason why I look like this on the show. I don't mean to be disrespectful. It just literally is. We live with our kids. We get a workout in. We feed our kids. It is a messy activity. But when I'm wanting to look like an adult, ladies and gentlemen, Mizzen in Maine. Boy, it's an awesome company. I was wearing this company before they became partners on the show. Why? Wrinkle-free. Wrinkle-free, super comfortable clothing. Instant visual hero shirt is one that I wear often. Crisp, comfortable, and I cannot express enough. You can pack these things the way that men pack, which is chucking clothes in. They won't wrinkle. They'll stay fresh. You'll look fit. This, ladies and gentlemen, is how you look like an adult. I think we're entering an era where people need to grow up a little bit, right? Enough of the slob look. I know I'm saying a lot, the guy who wears a t-shirt all day, but like seriously, people need to grow up. Look like a man, look like an adult, look like a professional. Mizzen in Maine, their pants, unbelievable. Shirts, unbelievable. Refined, lightweight, moisture wicking, wrinkle resistant, completely machine washable, no ironing, no dry cleaning. Who needs that? For a man on the go, and for the people in your life that don't need the hassle, Mizzen in Maine. Right now, Mizzen in Maine is offering our listeners 20% off your first purchase at mizzeninmaine.com. Promo code Benny20. That's Mizzen, M-I-Z-Z-E-N, M-I-Z-Z-E-N, and Maine, M-A-I-N.com. Promo code Benny20 for 20% off. Mizzeninmaine.com. Promo code Benny20. And if you'd rather shop in person, you can find their stores in select states, like in Tampa. Okay, where I shop. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Whew. Boy, howdy. Did Ilhan Omar commit treason? Goodness gracious. We'll see. Let's go through the evidence here, shall we? It has been a rowdy and wild one. I just want to do sort of a top line breaking news on the Iran war front. Trump open to supporting armed militias in Iran. Oh boy. Trump did rule out yesterday taking American boots and putting them on the ground. Last night, Trump was speaking to a reporter from News Nation saying he won't be putting American boots on the ground. Praise God. President Trump is open to supporting armed Iranian militias and opposing groups who are willing to take up arms to dislodge the Islamic Republic, though, U.S. officials confirmed. Trump spoke on Sunday with Kurdish leaders operating inside of Iran. The Kurds maintain a stable armed forces sizable along the Iraq-Iran border. The administration is also engaging in local leaders who could leverage Tehran's current weakness and make territorial political gains. Nobody's quite sure who's in charge of Iran, and nobody's quite sure what faction is going to rise up, right, and claim control. I think that Trump said they had a couple of people that were going to be in line for control. They killed everyone. I think the strikes, I guess, were in that regard too successful. They killed like the top 40 people in leadership, including the Ayatollah. Israeli strikes on positions in western Iran have fueled speculation that a ground path is being cleared for possible Kurdish advances. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt stated President Trump has spoken with many regional partners. Officials said Trump has not made a final decision, providing arms, trainings, and intelligence to anti-regime factions. When announcing the start of the U.S. and Israeli strikes on Iran, Trump urged the Iranian people to rise up and take over your government. America is backing you with overwhelming strength and force. By considering direct support of armed resistance groups, Trump is escalating beyond public calls for popular revolt. Okay. I mean, what has become clear here is that, at least for now, the regime does not want to surrender or negotiate. According to reports, multiple offers to negotiate have been levied to whatever or whomever is in charge of the Iranian regime at this moment. I don't actually even know. And it hasn't worked. And so things are going to continue. Now, President Trump was saying that this may be days, weeks. The number that I'm hearing is 4 weeks. So I guess we'll see. However, as we discussed yesterday with Cernovich, this isn't Iraq or Afghanistan. And I thought he made such a great point, and it went viral on our pages on X. He made such a profound point, which is that it's not Bush in charge. It's not a bunch of defense contractors who are in charge of these wars. I don't like Dick Cheney. My greatest regret, and I want to apologize to all of you, even though I didn't have a show back then. We didn't even have YouTube back then. There was no such thing as social media in 2002, really. I mean, was there? No, right? There wasn't a Facebook. There wasn't any of it. Not in 2002. Hey, Alex, am I getting my timelines right there? Yeah, of course. But during those eras, right, I was all in. Dick Cheney was clearly and quite obviously in the entire Cheney family functionaries of the deep state, of defense contractors. And it's been remarkable to see the capacity of the American military when the defense contractors are not in charge to prolong these wars for maximum profit. So I guess we'll see what happens. Now, the technology, of course, has improved dramatically. The systematic strikes, taking out all of Iran's leadership in a second, vaporizing everyone. The Ayatollah Khomeini, it's this guy's been ruling with a bloody fist for 40 years, and he's gone. First day. Nicolas Maduro, black bag, boom, first day, discombobulate everyone. It's unbelievable. American tech is unbelievable. It's space age. Trump's talked about this a lot. So there is a structural advantage to that. However, Iran is a huge nation. It's 4 times the size of Afghanistan. It has 4 times the population. And so the variables and the fronts are much bigger. They have closed the Straits of Hormuz. What that means is that a fifth of the oil production in the world is now sort of stuck. So that you're already seeing oil prices rise. And you're going to see now the tick-tock of all of the downstream dominoes of what's happening with this war. The regime says that they don't want to negotiate, and they're going to continue on, and it's going to be a who can outlast whom the longest, who can outlast the pressure the longest. And so that's effectively the posturing right now for American troops. ALX, there was a spectacular thread on this morning that I would like for you to grab up, what we learned on day 3 of the war. It was amazing. And it was from one of these guys that we've been trying to book on the show. I want to see if you can grab it. Maybe we can plow through that this morning after we get done with our first topic and subject matter. Whoo, baby. Oh, and one other thing, ALX, I'm going to need Harmeet Dillon. I'm going to need Harmeet Dillon going viral. Harmeet Dillon going viral on Ilhan Omar and her immigration status. I'm going to need that clip. Okay. Ilhan Omar's had an interesting time over the last couple of weeks. Ilhan Omar, obviously, is somebody who is privileged to not be living inside of a refugee camp in Somalia. That's where we found her, right? Back when she was a little girl inside of a nation that was completely destroyed by her people. It's her nation, right? Somalia belongs to the Somalis, I guess you might say. And what exactly have the Somalis done with Somalia? Well, that nation is worse than the third world. It's not a functional nation. It's a nation completely tribalized, sectarian violence, child brides, cousin marriages, Stone Age, caveman, goat herding, piracy. It is non-functional. There are not emergency services. There's not a stable government. And there's no sanitation. There's no sewage in Mogadishu. It is the worst place on earth to live. Hey, how could you say that? There's a lot of bad places on earth. You know, you ever been to Detroit? Okay, let me tell you what. I've been to Detroit. It was actually a lot nicer than I thought it was going to be. That's kind of remarkable, actually. And then secondarily, the United Nations says that. United Nations says that the lowest human vectored capacity for productivity and thriving is in the nation of Somalia. They're number one. It's pretty remarkable. There's 200 nations on earth, and they're number one. All right. So, Ilhan Omar received a gift, the most precious gift you can receive. Her ancestors had no hand in building this productive land, this incredible nation. Her ancestors had zero input, sacrificed zero blood, sacrificed zero strife or struggle. She came here, no doubt, on an American military airlift paid for by the American taxpayers. Probably cost us millions of dollars to bring her and her family over here. So that is one of the most profound privileges that you can possibly have. What a gift. How much more on level should Ilhan Omar love our country than even you or I? And let me explain myself. Like both my grandfathers fought in World War II. I can trace my family lineage back to well before the World Wars. Perhaps you can too. There are many what you would call heritage Americans that can trace their family lineage back pre-revolution. These are families that built our country. Our country built, of course, on English law and justice and judicial system, on Christian law as well, on the traditions, the Christian law traditions woven through Western civilization, from Greece to late Rome to the British Empire, the Magna Carta. These are the kind of foundational ideas, John Locke, that establish our republic. None of it comes from Somalia. And of course, none of it could come from Somalia because that's not a functional nation. That shares, of course, none of our traditions. Again, the coefficient of cousin marriages in Somalia is alarming, horrific. So imagine not having to suffer for any of that, the many wars, the strife, the stock market crashes, the depressions, all of the things that my family had to go through, the sacrifice, the building, every generation building on one another, sacrificing in strife and struggle to create this sort of like Pax Americana. Soviet Union falls. We have this incredible American century. Say what you will about it, but it has truly been remarkable. I am grateful. I'm thankful. And then, like, with zero sacrifice and zero input, Ilhan Omar gets airlifted in and dropped in to a functional, profitable, prosperous society, the exact opposite of Somalia. It's clean. It has technology that makes life, like, habitable. It has a welfare state where Ilhan Omar and her family, they don't have to starve to death or be thrown in prison because they're war criminals, because they are. Anyway, the point is that, like, and I guess this is just the way that human nature works, but they sacrifice nothing, so they have no gratitude. It's like an incredible ruling from Antonin Scalia about the welfare state. Something to the effect of, like, the welfare state, it creates forced giving without love and acceptance without gratitude. That's what government forced giving means. And that's what we've done for Ilhan Omar and her Somali brothers and sisters. And how they repaid us exactly. Well, they've sent Ilhan Omar to Congress to shriek and scream at our president. And that's what she did last week. Among all the fraud and all of the subterfuge and all the other things that we're about to cover here, Ilhan Omar took that gift that she just received a couple of years ago. I mean, she hasn't been here for long. She came here as a pretty old child. She took that gift that her and hundreds of thousands of other Somalis have received, the greatest gift on earth, strip mine parasitically our welfare programs, enrich their Somali populations into being, some of them, like multi-millionaires. One of the guys that they just locked up in Minneapolis had $50 million in the bank. $50 million. All of it fraudulence from our welfare systems. So instead of being grateful for that gift, she screams at our president, shrieks at him in the middle of his speech here.
Ashamed of yourself not standing up.
Trump
You should be
correctly
ashamed of
saying
yourself.
you must be ashamed of
That
yourself.
is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases,
You ever seen anything like this?
murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal
honestly,
of these
how
people
dare, I mean,
out
truly,
of our
how
country,
dare
and
you.
you should be ashamed of yourself.
Look at that. I mean, this alone, this behavior alone, could you imagine? I hate playing this game. You can see why places like China and Japan take zero immigrants, like at all. Like those nations take zero. There's zero. They've cut it down to effectively like the smallest trickle, like maybe 100 a year. I don't even know. Zero foreign invaders. Could you imagine? Could you imagine going to another functional country and behaving like this? First off, not assimilating to their traditions, Ilhan Omar, wearing, as President Trump calls it, a swaddling hijab, but more importantly, like not ascribing to Western civilization traditions, bringing your failed and collapsed backwards functionalities into our nation. Well, what is that? Immigration without assimilation is an invasion, is what it says in Deuteronomy. Careful of the foreigner, because they will rule over you. They will, and how many times did the ancient Israelis have to learn this? They will bulldoze you, they will bulldoze your culture, and they will lord it over you. They will insult you inside of your halls of power. Look at our president being screamed at by a Somali refugee. I mean, the profundity of this moment. I don't think people quite get it. It's why Donald Trump, frankly, goes so hard after Ilhan Omar. It is, like, quite frankly, very funny when he does. This is one of my all-time favorites.
I love this Ilhan Omar, whatever the hell her name is, with the little turban. I love her. She comes in, does nothing but bitch. She's always complaining. She comes from a country where, I mean, it's considered about the worst country in the world, right? They have no military. They have no nothing. They have no parliament. They don't know what the hell the word parliament means. They have nothing. They have no police. They police themselves. They kill each other all the time.
Trump's right. So Trump has often said, my dream would be to deport Ilhan Omar back to where she comes from. Why doesn't she make Somalia great again?
Telling us what to do.
When you talk about
I'm talking about like Somalia, where you have a congressman who goes around telling everybody about our Constitution, and yet she supposedly came into a country by marrying her brother. Well, if that's true, she shouldn't be a congressman, and we should throw her the hell out of our country. Frankly,
We should be just extremely grateful for a president that speaks with the kind of tenor and clarity like this. I mean, again, say what you will about President Trump. I've waited my entire life to hear that type of clarity and verve from a president. Like, damn it, you better be grateful for this nation or you should go home. And as we have said, whatever you think about the Iran war, this moment should be the absolute and total initiation point for mass deportations, grand and mass deportations of every criminal alien, mass denaturalizations of everyone who gives aid and comfort to the enemy. There is an enemy. There are ideologies that are incompatible with Western civilization. That is a matter of fact. And we should not want them inside of our lands. It doesn't mean that we need to go kill them in their lands, but we shouldn't want them in our lands. Ilhan Omar, a walking billboard for what happens when you allow this to fester. And what do I mean by this? The loathing and ingratitude for our American nation. Again, Ilhan Omar, of all people, given her background, her life had a 0% chance of success. 0%. Go check in with other young girls who weren't airlifted out of Somalia. Find out how they're doing, if they're still around in Somalia. I don't mean to be macabre, but go check in. The United Nations has, multiple NGOs and nonprofits have, and they all come back and say, this is the single worst place you could possibly ever live. It is the worst. Think Ilhan Omar would be sitting there with a $30 million mysterious net worth in the halls of Congress, screaming at the most powerful man in the world? The insult. That alone, ladies and gentlemen, should make all Americans demand mass deportations and immediately. Frankly, if you come to this country, you should have to earn it. That's not the worst thing Ilhan Omar's done. I would argue maybe the worst thing Ilhan Omar's done has been, again, to give aid and comfort to the enemy. Here is a Ilhan Omar in her first term in Congress. These are the kind of terms in Congress where typically you shut up. Talk to any member of Congress. I know a lot of members of Congress. You serve that first term, you are a spring chicken. You should not be making waves. You should not be rocking boats. You should not be harming leadership. You should stay in your lane. Just like if you're a rookie on like the Super Bowl team, like stay in your lane, have respect. What does Ilhan Omar do? Like right as soon as she gets elected to Congress, goes out and insults every family that died on 9/11.
Was founded after 9/11 because they recognized that some people did something.
Listen to that. Some people did something. I mean, she said it. They can try and like word shop it as much as they want. She's talking about terrorists slaughtering Americans. Some people did something. Well, maybe she was just stupid, or maybe she just had her words incorrectly. Okay, well, if you want to know her opinion on terrorists, how about the ISIS terrorists that come, of course, from her district in Minnesota that Ilhan Omar has argued needed leniency from our government?
Election night was just 2 days ago, but it seems Minnesota Representative-elect Ilhan Omar may have already made her first move as an elected official. In a letter signed November 8th, Omar asks a U.S. district judge for compassion when sentencing 9 Minnesota Somali American men convicted of trying to join the terrorist group ISIS.
Why wasn't she deported after this? Like, do we have a real country or not? Do we have a real country or not? Ilhan Omar, again, to become a naturalized citizen, you can't even be a member of the Communist Party. Hey, Alex, can you please grab that? Like, do you realize our naturalization process here in this country is really strict? It's really strict. It should be a lot more strict. It should be way more strict. But you still, like, to this day, you can't be a member of a terrorist organization or a member of the Communist Party. It says so right there in the black and white. If you wish to be a member, if you wish to be an American citizen, you will not be allowed to become naturalized if they find ties to terrorist groups, ties to radical extremist groups, and they name the Communist Party in there. Well, Ilhan Omar has both. In what world can you justify this not being aid to the enemy? What universe? Here we go. Grounds for revocation of naturalization. You procure naturalization illegally. Concealment of material factor or willful misrepresentation. membership and affiliation with certain organizations. Let's go ahead and look. This is from the U.S. Immigration, Citizenship and Immigration Services. Let's go read their website right now on this federal website. A person subject to revocation and naturalization, a person becomes a member of or affiliated with the Communist Party or other totalitarian parties or terrorist organizations within 5 years of his or her naturalization. In general, a person who is involved in such organizations cannot establish naturalization requirements, having an attachment to the Constitution, or being well disposed to the good order and happiness of the United States. Where did that go in our decision to whom we are going to let into this country? Like, when was the last time we asked, are you going to be well disposed to the good order and happiness of the United States? Like, it's actually our country. It's not yours. You're a guest here. And you better damn well step up and behave if you wish to be a citizen of these United States, because it's our country, not yours. And our happiness, actually, look at this, right there on the federal document with the citation, obviously going to the actual American law. The happiness of the United States, your and my happiness with the individuals in this, like whether we are happy if they are here or not. I wonder how many people are happy when their entire neighborhoods get overrun by 50,000 Haitians. Does that make you happy? Does it make you happy to not share a language with your neighbors? To now have like calls to prayer? Filth on the streets, people eating the cats and dogs. Does that make you happy? Is that happier? Is the United States happier when there's just a fraudulent Somali daycare on every single street corner? Does that make a happier United States? When you have billions of dollars of autism fraud, welfare fraud. Does it make you happier when we bring in people that hate our land, hate us as Native Americans who built this land, being well disposed and to the good order? Well, are these communities orderly? Go into these communities. What you'll find is they're filthy, in fact. Sorry, we haven't even gotten to like the main point of all of this, because Ilhan Omar did, in fact, leak American war plans with Iran, and I'll prove that right now. But it's amazing to go and read actual immigration law here. You know, are these places good orderly? Go to the third world and find out if they're good orderly. Klein, give me a couple of photos of Mogadishu. You know, go look at what South Africa looks like. Like, go look at the deterioration of South Africa. And there's plenty of American cities you can do this with. I'm not picking on the third world. Go look at some of the filth, the trash, the disgusting refuse. Go look at the streets of Mogadishu. Ask yourself, thank you, Klein, this is perfect. I honestly, I'm telling you, like, my wife won't let me, but I want to go to Mogadishu. I want to show people. Like, there's not enough people. You need to see where Ilhan Omar comes from, where the Somali population comes from. Because if more people understood this, there would be zero immigration from these lands. Zero. We wouldn't allow it. We would say, wait a second, you've done this to your land? We don't want you to do this to our land. This is what you've done with your stewardship. You know, there's a lot of Bible verses about this. Judge people by their fruits. Christ says this all the time. Judge people by their fruits. God giveth to us. What are we doing with those gifts? I think about this constantly. That's why we try as hard as we can to be generous on this program, to go out in the world and do good, do our best to inform at least every single day. But what are you doing with God? What God gives you? Well, Somalia was given to the Somalis, and this is what they've done with it. And you should judge people like that. It is Christian to say, okay, I'm going to judge you. I'm going to judge you by the fruits that you bear. That is woven into the New Testament. I mean, that's like a survival mode thing. So no, this is not good. This is not goodly ordered. And no, I would not be happy if the United States looked like this. So that's what our Constitution demands. That those who are naturalized establish that they could have an attachment to the Constitution, that they are well disposed, that they are of good order, and that they bring happiness to the United States. No, they haven't. Ladies and gentlemen, this, my screen, please. This is not happiness. This is not anyone. This is not happiness. You are not bringing happiness to the United States here. Again, you're guests here. You are not bringing happiness to the United States. Like, again, you could denaturalize based on this alone. You could denaturalize based on immigration fraud. Ilhan Omar did marry her brother. She said she'd do what she had to get him papers. You could denaturalize based on the DNA evidence that Ilhan Omar's brother, and they were able to find multiple cigarette butts from Ilhan Omar and her brother. They matched the DNA. And Ahmed Elmi is his name, that he is, in fact, her brother. That's her second husband. The Trump administration has, this is from the White House itself, worth reading. Ilhan Omar did marry her brother. The White House has straight up said it. And of course, on our program, the White House has said that they're looking into this. Ilhan Omar's net worth skyrockets as much as $30 million. Okay. So there's a number of different ways to skin the cat, as they say here. But I want to get to this, because right now we are in the middle of a hot war with Iran. Americans are dying. And on the eve of that war, Ilhan Omar told Iran exactly when we would attack. She did it in public. And it begs the question, what did she know? When did she know it? And is this grounds, among a very large stack of cards, is this the trump card, so to speak, for full denaturalization? Iraq was attacked by the U.S. during Ramadan. And it's sickening to know that the U.S. is going to attack Iran during Ramadan. Where did she post this? Oh, February 26th. We hadn't attacked Iran then. This is 3 days before an attack on Iran. 4 days before the attack on Iran. Well, wait a second. How is she saying the U.S. is going or might? This isn't speculation. She's telling the world, and the 20 million people who saw this, it went viral, 10,000 likes, 70,000 reposts. Of course, she locks her comments. She hates because of who she is, because of like the model that she comes from. She comes from totalitarianism. She doesn't like feedback. She doesn't want to hear from anyone. She locks her comments. Again, this is not some Stan account. This is Ilhan Omar's real account. There it is. 2.8 million followers. She tells all her followers that the U.S. is going to attack during Ramadan. Let's go ahead and see. I don't know when Ramadan is. I'm not a Muslim. Let's go ahead and check in here. When is Ramadan? The evening of Tuesday, February 17th through March 19th. Oh, okay. We attacked on March 1st. So you mean exactly right smack dab in the middle of Ramadan? When Ilhan Omar told the world that we will attack Iran in the middle of Ramadan? Wow, that's interesting. I mean, I can't find any other tweets. There's a lot of people who hate Trump, a lot of people who don't like the war in Iran. I can't find any other tweets from any other members of Congress saying with such precise certitude when we're going to attack Iran. Curious here, ALX, would you please get me all of the committees that Ilhan Omar's on? Because something remarkable has happened here. We've investigated and found there would absolutely be a vector for somebody to tell Ilhan Omar when we were going to attack. Rubio briefed Congress right before the State of the Union. When was this posted? Right before the State of the Union. When did Ilhan Omar post this? Right before the State of the Union. Rubio was briefing something called the Gang of Eight. Guess who's on the Gang of Eight? Hakeem Jeffries. Rubio and CIA Director John Ratcliffe, both of whom were there at the launch of Epic Fury. We have the photos, by the way. Let's go ahead and grab those photos. Rubio and John Ratcliffe, no doubt and without question, briefed the Gang of Eight, which includes, let's see, Hakeem Jeffries, who's like best friends with Ilhan Omar, Chuck Schumer, who'd do anything to save his seat, Jim Himes, Democrat from Connecticut, Mark Warner. They told him we were going to war. There's no doubt. I mean, maybe not the exact date and time, but that it's happening. So this happened before Trump's State of the Union. Then Ilhan Omar immediately posts that we are going to war. Who leaked to Ilhan Omar? Who told Ilhan Omar? And then here's Ilhan Omar telling the world. The tweet is still up. This is real. Now, she got community noted. That's what this is. If you're unfamiliar with X, she got community noted. The Iraq invasion began on March 20th. Major combat operations declared over May 1st, LOL, months before Ramadan that year. Survey shows that in Iran, only 37% of the population identifies as Muslim. That's wild. That's fascinating to me, actually. I didn't know that. Anyway, Ilhan Omar, of course, lying to everyone. Let's continue with her tweet. The U.S. apparently loves to strike Muslim countries. No, they're not. Only 37% of the country is Muslim. During Ramadan, I'm convinced that it isn't what these countries have done. They have slaughtered a lot of Americans. ALX, get me Caroline Levitt from yesterday, please. Thank you. I'm convinced, and I'm reading to you from the tweet, it's not that what these countries have done to violate international law, but about who they worship. Fascinating here. A lot of people are saying, well, wait a second, including members of Congress. Pat Harrigan, who's a former Navy SEAL, is on our show. If anybody is wondering why the administration can't brief Congress before taking military action, this is your answer. Somali pirate, says Nancy Mace. Shut up, you Somali pirate. In all seriousness, this does raise questions, says Tim Pool. Perfect day to deport Ilhan Omar. There was a briefing literally the day before Ilhan Omar posted that. Ratcliffe and Rubio, CIA director and the Secretary of State, briefed Hakeem Jeffries, who's best friends with Ilhan Omar. Did Hakeem Jeffries walk over to Ilhan Omar and say, we're going to war with Iran? And then Ilhan Omar, like, fresh off of screaming at the president of the United States in her, like, violent, rage-filled, like, as President Trump says, bulging eyes filled with hate, did Ilhan Omar go and, like, just to warn the Iranians that we're about to attack them? It sure as hell seems like it. Given the fact that there's no ambiguity here, the U.S. is going to attack Iran during Ramadan. All right, seen by 20 million people. You know, there's a lot of chapters in the U.S. Code for seditious activity. You know, it's wild. Wouldn't it be remarkable if what they tried to charge Donald Trump with, they were able to charge Ilhan Omar with? Sedition, treason, subversive activities. There are so many different laws against this. You can see them right here. Advocating the overthrow of government, seditious, conspiracy, rebellion, insurrection, misprison of treason. Whoever owing allegiance to the United States and having, well, that's a big question, actually, for Ilhan Omar. And having knowledge to the commission, that's because the president of Somalia says that she actually owes allegiance to Somalia and not America. He says this on camera, and Ilhan Omar standing there smiling. That's what they say it. They're not subtle about it. Treason against them conceals and does not, as soon as it may be, disclose and make known. The same president, judge, the United States, governor, is guilty of misprison, of treason, and shall be fined under the title, imprisoned 7 years or both. Okay. This just says if you have loyalty to the United States and you commit treason against our country or don't disclose information that could help our nation. Well, there you go. Goodness gracious, people. Okay. A wild moment. A wild moment in American history. What will happen next? I don't know. But we wanted to bring attention to this. It's something that we've often talked about with the administration. Tricia McLaughlin says that Ilhan Omar's citizenship could be revoked. Yes, absolutely, under U.S. law. And this went viral when we first posted it. But something that we posted in an interview that we did just last week from Harmy Dillon actually went the most viral, because Harmy Dillon tipped her hat and said, and this is why it's important to ask a follow-up question, said, no, you don't understand. The gears are already in motion to deport Ilhan Omar. A wild clip. We'll wrap up this with this clip, and then we have some incredible guests on our to talk about on our program. Senator Ron Johnson, and an admiral who would probably have some strong feelings on this. Here we go.
To see her contempt, and right next to her, Rashida Tlaib, another person with an immigrant background. Look, Ilhan Omar has some legal issues regarding her citizenship. I'll just leave it at that. I think that they've been well covered in the press, but it's shameful. And I am so happy to be an American, and people need to get out there and touch some grass in other countries and see what they go through to really appreciate how great we have it in this country. But freedom isn't free, and every generation needs to fight for it. And if we're complacent about it, we will lose it. And history has shown us that that civilizations that get fat and happy usually lose it. And we're so fat and happy that we're handing out billions of dollars to scamsters in these blue states and not caring about it at the same time that California has the lowest reading standards in the United States and has broken roads and has an open border and has, there's sewage issues and you name it. It's insane. And so we cannot take this beautiful country for granted. I will not, as long as I draw breath, always be very proud to be an American and fight for what America means and why my parents brought me here to this country.
Yeah, that was an interesting answer. Could you elucidate at all for us on these citizenship issues for Ilhan Omar? Will we ever see anything on that? I will tell you that I was very
anything, but
sure.
I think it's been well covered, and I covered it certainly myself before I joined the DOJ. That certainly it's a truism of immigration law that if you commit fraud in the course of obtaining your citizenship, if you lie about being that you weren't a Nazi guard at a concentration camp, you can be denaturalized. If you lie about your marriage status on which your citizenship depends, or your familial status, or what have you, if you fake any of those documents or you lie, that's a grounds for denaturalization. And so I think it's been credibly alleged that there are serious questions about the circumstances of the paperwork around that naturalization. I'll just leave it at that. I'm not working on that issue. That's not part of what the Civil Rights Division does. But I think we need to police that seriously. It is a...
Ooh. That's probably the most clear answer the administration has given about what they're planning on doing. Notice how she used the Nazi reference there? Notice how she said, if you've lied about being a member of a terrorist organization or totalitarian organization, that's the first time we've heard that hat in hand tipped. I think we may be onto something with Ilhan Omar. She's already argued for leniency for ISIS members. She's already said that on 9/11 some people did something. Now she's telling the Iranian mullahs exactly when America is going to attack Iran. Enough, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody who would know, well, the American military and American military code better than anyone, perhaps, on earth, and an absolute patriot. Admiral Robert Harward. He's a former Navy SEAL. He's a vice admiral and senior advisor to the Iran Policy Project. He grew up in Iran. He graduated from Tehran American School. He speaks Farsi. He's a Navy SEAL. He's led U.S. operations in Afghanistan and Iraq. He served as a deputy commander of U.S. Central Command, helped stand up National Counterterrorism Center, and was tasked by President Trump to serve as a national security advisor. My goodness, no one could speak on this issue, and in fact, more authoritatively than Admiral Harward, who we are thankful to have joining us live right now. Admiral, thank you so much for being on our program, and we're glad to have you. I know we had a little technical difficulty yesterday. We always blame that on the communists, So you grew up in
by the way, let me just say one thing. I struck by the woman you're just speaking to. I don't know if you noticed what was behind her. It was a replica of the first Bill of Human Rights done by Cyrus the Great, the Persian Empire, and the Iranians. That's what this thing going on is all about. The Iranian people know what human rights are. They know what freedom are. They want change. And we have the opportunity to support them in a long overdue fashion. So it's just ironic to see that on her behind her on her display. It's also displayed in the UN. But people forget what this is all about. This is about basic human rights that the Iranian people have been denied for almost 5 decades now.
Yeah, I've noticed that there's no feminists who like this war, and that seems odd because there's 40 million women who live effectively in chattel slavery in Iran. And under this regime, and no one's celebrating them potentially being liberated from that. Seems strange. You are an expert. Were you born in Iran?
No, my father was a naval officer in '68, sent to Iran to advise the Iranian Navy. I was in 5th grade, so he took the whole family over there. He did that until 1974 and then retired, but stay in Iran. Doing defense work till it collapsed in '79. So we were all there in Tehran skiing over that Christmas when it collapsed.
And that's a remarkable story. Can you talk about the profound differences? Like, what was that like?
Oh, without a doubt. Listen, the Shah was very progressive. He had implemented human rights. He implemented women's rights. He implemented land reform. He had moved them into the 21st century. Women wore miniskirts. There was casinos. There was skiing. It's very active. You could travel anywhere. And in fact, during the summers, my father used to kick us out. We'd hitchhike across Afghanistan, Pakistan. Because of our values in the West, we were respected, and the whole region was pretty stable and peaceful. And to see that all be shattered with the Islamic Revolution that came to power in '79 is just painful. But now we have an opportunity to correct that.
I just read a statistic that only 30% of Iran considers themselves Muslim. And that shocked me. I didn't actually know that. I was ignorant to that fact. So can you perhaps speak since you lived, am I doing the math right here? 20 years maybe in Iran? You at least lived there for decades. You speak Farsi. You know that culture very well. Could you perhaps talk about what the Persian people, what is Persia exactly, and what is this culture? Because it isn't actually authoritarian, dictatorial Sharia law culture. That's not what this nation is. Admiral, did I lose you? Admiral? I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. For some reason, we've lost connection with the Admiral. We're going to jump on over to our great senator, who is standing in the wings, and we will work on getting the Admiral reconnected because I'm fascinated to talk with him about his story and what this actually means. Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, who's an absolute legend on the program, is locked and loaded and I believe ready to go. Just checking in with my producers here, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. So ALX, just let me know with the senator. The partner of today's show and one of the proudest partnerships that we have is Preborn. Preborn is one of the most important organizations in the world, I would argue. As somebody who's been through a lot of ultrasounds, a lot of moments in our lives that are connected, obviously, to seeing the future that God has for us through the miracle of technology. And that's different for everyone. But whatever God may have for you, if you are pregnant and you can see that image up on the screen, it changes you and will change you forever. Now, people who want death and genocide of our nation, of our people, of Western civilization, they know this. That's why there's no ultrasounds inside of Planned Parenthood. They know how powerful this technology is. Preborn helps give ultrasounds to expectant mothers who may be in crisis, compassion, and clarity about the life growing inside of her, and the promise of real support to welcome her baby. The hope of the gospel is what preborn offers. More than 80% of the time when a mother sees her baby on a preborn ultrasound, she chooses life. This March, preborn is believing to be saving nearly 7,000 babies. But it will take 124 partners saying yes every single day. Here's my ask. Pause your busy day for a moment and become a yes right now. For just $28, provides one ultrasound, $140, helps 5 mothers. Every dollar helps save babies and share hope. Dial pound 250 and say the keyword baby. That's pound 250, say the keyword baby, or visit preborn.com. That's preborn.com/Benny. Let's jump on over to our senator. Ladies and gentlemen, Senator Ron Johnson, locked and loaded and ready to go. Is Ilhan Omar a traitor? Let's go. Senator, thank you so much for being on the program. As ever, the topic of the show today is Ilhan Omar posting days before our attack on Iran that we are going to be attacking Iran, specifically over the Muslim holiday of Ramadan. And given the fact that Rubio and the CIA director had just briefed the Gang of Eight about our war plans, it just seems ironic. I just see the timing just seems very strange to me, and extremely reckless, of course. Americans have now died in this conflict, and it bothers us. What say you, Senator?
Well, it is suspicious. I certainly don't trust the Congresswoman. It's one of the reasons that we've given, the Constitution gives the President of the United States the authority over these foreign affairs and, quite honestly, kind of military action. You cannot brief Congress and expect to hold or have war plans held confidential. They're going to leak. You're going to have people that might be traitors that way. So that's why, again, our founders, in their wisdom, put the president as the commander in chief of our military and in charge of foreign affairs to act when he had to act, because here in Congress, we certainly cannot get our act together. I mean, we can't even fund the government on time. We just funded, I guess, 11 of the 12 appropriation bills 4 months into the fiscal year. Last year, we were operating a continuing resolution. So, don't look to Congress. I mean, we'll do another war powers resolution vote here. It's a joke. It's not going to pass. It's just, people flapping their gums. This is why presidents have to be commander in chief. And the restraint on president is public opinion. They're not going to act. They're not going to take us to war when the public is completely opposed to it. But I think most of the public realizes the Ayatollahs have been at war with us now for 47 years. They've killed countless Americans. They are a menace. They are a threat. And it is unequivocally good. It's inarguable. It would be good if the Ayatollahs fell and the Iranian people could take over that country.
Yes. I think that's without debate. I think you make such a great point that the restraint is, in fact, public opinion. Do you believe that the administration has made the case to the American people? We saw some pretty brutal back and forths online in the social media space. As somebody who obviously has a very loud voice inside of the Republican Party in the Senate, how are your constituents taking this? And do you think the administration has done well?
I think the case was made when they blew up the Marine barracks, when they slaughtered hundreds of American soldiers with the IEDs, as they've threatened, as they've sent missiles around the Middle East. Again, as they pursued a nuclear weapon. Iran, even on the Ayatollahs, could have been peaceful and prosperous. All they would have had to do is say, we're not going to enrich uranium to create a nuclear weapon. That's all they had to do. The fact that they didn't do it speaks volumes. And let me make another point, because this is according to AI, which is often confidently wrong. But I just did a search. How many people were executed during the French Revolution? Somewhere between 16 and 17,000. How many people were executed during the Spanish Inquisition? Somewhere between 2,000 and 5,000. The Iranian regime, that brutal regime, executed 32,000 Iranians in the last month. 32,000. No telling how many additional thousands during the other uprisings. So this is a brutal apocalyptic type of regime, the sooner they're gone, it'll be better for all the world.
Have you had any briefings about what the plans are moving into next stages? Obviously, there was a very successful strike, was able to wipe out all of Iranian leadership, and then the administration's like, "Oh, okay, we killed too many people. now we're looking for who's going to run the nation." What's the game theory here, Senator?
But we'll get a briefing this afternoon, an all-Senate hearing or a briefing. Okay. But let's keep in mind that there's about 200,000 members of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, right? Okay, the IRGC. 600,000 other people in their militias that can be round up. And those, by the way, those 600,000 people, they're the ones that round up people and have them executed. So you've got close to 1 million people that are, adhere to the violent ideology of the mullahs, of the ayatollahs, who are willing to carry out their orders. So I don't expect this is going to go easy. And it's one of the reasons why president after president, even as much of a menace as Iran is, presidents have been very reluctant to undertake a bombing campaign, realizing that you don't generally destroy a regime, a government, through a bombing campaign. Now, hopefully, Iran is so weak. Hopefully, the Iranian people will be courageous, as so many of them have been in the past. But again, a lot of the most courageous ones have already been wiped out. They're no longer there. So will the Iranian people rise up, take this opportunity, and overthrow the Ayatollahs? That's the $64,000 question. I don't think anybody can answer it.
Yeah. Okay. I would, Cernovich was on yesterday talking about this. I do wonder, was this decision, and I know Rubio was in Congress yesterday, was this decision, or could this decision be tied potentially to any other domestic policies for the administration that the base wants and desires so much? I mean, it seems like it should go hand in hand with absolute and total mass deportations, obviously, of terroristic elements that are here in our nation, of millions of people that we don't even know who they are. We've already seen deadly terrorist attacks on our nation from guys wearing Property of Allah sweatshirts. The SAVE Act, it seems like it'd be nice to see a horse trade here, quite frankly, for some domestic policies. Can you talk about that front?
Well, again, when you have a menace like Iran that's been around for 47 years, threatens the world, destabilizes the region, continues to be dedicated to obtaining a nuclear weapon with long-range missiles to potentially reach the U.S., lob a nuclear weapon up, create an EMP attack, and wipe out our electrical grid, that type of thing, you have to take that seriously. And people have been reluctant to act. This president finally had enough of it. I don't know what intelligence. I don't know how close they may have been with the further enrichment of uranium or turning what they already had into a weapon. But again, it's inarguably good if they are gone, if their capabilities are dramatically degraded. That's a good thing. Now, overthrow the regime, I don't know. But yeah, we've got a lot of problems here at home. I think one of the biggest problems we have as Republicans is I need more of my colleagues to wake up to the fact that the Democrat Party, the radical left, so one and the same, they are at war with us. They want to turn America into a one-party nation. They're absolutely dedicated to doing it. That's why they opened up the border, flooded sanctuary cities and states with illegal immigrants that can be counted in the census, plump up their numbers in Congress. When they get power, they will eliminate the filibuster, turn Puerto Rico and D.C. into states. They'll pack the Supreme Court, which is why I wish they would respect the minority rights in the Senate with the filibuster. They don't. So we ought to act first for the benefit of the American people to secure elections, to secure our border, bring greater prosperity to America. We will do it in the benefit of the American public. Democrats will end the filibuster to consolidate their power.
I fear, reading the recent headlines, that we've lost our grip on getting the SAVE Act across the finish line. Can you update us on that, Senator? Well, John Thun's not going to do it.
So understand, the blame for not passing the Save America Act, for not doing some common sense controls over our elections, to secure elections, resides solely with the Democrats. They are the ones that want to make it easier to cheat. Now, we have procedural hurdles in the Senate. And again, I understand why my colleagues are reluctant to just end the filibuster, because it has prevented all kinds of awful leftist legislation in the past. Again, I don't think my colleagues are really coming to the realization that the next time Democrats are in control, they will end the filibuster. I got a lot of colleagues that say, oh no, they really won't. They won't, because they know it'll come back to haunt them. No, they will. So again, that's really the split right now in the conference. Those of us who recognize what the Democrats will do and reluctantly want to do it before they do it, again, for the benefit of the American people, and those who are just hoping and praying the Democrats will retain the filibuster so that we can continue to block awful legislation when we're in the minority. Again, it's a legitimate point of view to have. I understand that. At a minimum, and I spoke with Leader Thune yesterday about this, at a minimum, we ought to put the bill on the floor and make Democrats defend, at least for a few days, why they oppose something that 80% of the American people support. ID to vote, control so that their legitimate vote's not canceled out by a fraudulent one. I mean, we need to put Democrats on the spot. And guys said, let's just put it on the floor. We'll fill the amendment tree. We'll concentrate on amendments we want to have to try and hone and perfect that piece of legislation. We've got people where, for example, some of those provisions give them problems in states like Alaska or other places. Fine, let's recognize that. Use the floor time and the amendments to perfect that piece of legislation. And again, just get the American public on our side to show the lies the Democrats are saying. And right now, if it's a one and done vote, Democrats can say, oh, that's Jim Crow 2.0. And the legacy media will support them on that. If we put it on the floor for days at a time, it's going to be far more difficult for Democrats to continue to lie about it when all we're trying to do is what the vast majority of Americans want: secure elections, make sure that their legitimate vote's not canceled out by a fraudulent one.
So very quickly, did John Thune say, yes, he will do that?
He's very open to it. He needs his conference to be supportive of it. So again, I can't say we have an agreement overnight, but he's certainly open to it. We're having those discussions.
Wow. Okay. That's awesome. So what we need is just continue the pressure for the talking filibuster.
You're breaking up there. What was that?
We just need to continue the pressure, the outside pressure for the strategy of the talking filibuster, as Mike Lee has been on our program many times working through.
But again, understand, in the end, if it doesn't pass, don't blame Republicans, blame Democrats. They are the ones who don't want secure elections. I mean, that's the greatest danger right now, pressing the talking filibuster. Again, it's going to be very difficult because there's a two-speech rule, but offering amendments is not part of the two-speech, so they can offer an infinite number of amendments. So this is going to be, even if we don't, even the talking filibuster, there's no guarantee there. This isn't about just having resolved unless we completely end the filibuster and have at least 50 Republican votes. And we've got some people that have, again, some legitimate issues with doing this. So, again, this is not black and white.
Okay. All right. Well, Senator, just a final takeaway, walkaway question here. What was it like being in the House chamber as Ilhan Omar was screaming her head off at President Trump?
Well, I've seen video of it, and video does not even come close to capturing what we witnessed, particularly in the brilliant move where President Trump said, can we just agree on this basic principle that government's first duty is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens? And the fact that Democrats couldn't even stand up to support that was unbelievable. And again, I don't think Democrats have it in them to squirm or feel guilty about this stuff, but they should have been squirming in their seats. But it was just a stark difference. We're standing in the chamber. We're absolutely, reaffirming that principle that government's first duty is to protect American citizens. And Democrats are just sitting in their hands like sourpusses. They wouldn't even stand up to, for example, offer sympathy for the mother of the slain Ukrainian woman. They wouldn't even stand up to celebrate the fact that this young girl who was grievously injured by an illegal alien driving an 18-wheeler, that she was healing and was in the gallery. They wouldn't even stand up to celebrate that. So you'd have to be in the chamber to really get the full depth of just their cravenness, quite honestly. I mean, the Democrats it's just unbelievable, the positions they're taking. And I wish the American people had a full sense of what it felt like and really how they behaved, which was shameful. President Trump is absolutely right. They're crazy and they ought to be ashamed, but they have no shame.
Yes, yes, yes. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Great line. Thank you, Senator, for your time, and Godspeed. Saving America, the Save America Act. Everybody go follow Senator Ron Johnson. 700,000 Americans already do. Godspeed, Senator.
Godspeed to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we do, in fact, sleep like a baby, even though we've monitored the situation all weekend. Situation monitoring happening sometimes actually in bed. Is it here? X open. My Helix sleep mattress is where I monitor the situation sometimes. This is what it is. A Helix sleep gets you a good night's rest and sets you up for a great day of situation monitoring. That's because Helix Sleep helps you sleep better. A study they ran found 82% of those involved saw an increase in their deep sleep cycle while sleeping on a Helix mattress. That's why the Helix mattress is the mattress of the Johnson household. It's a mattress, obviously, that we use, not only my wife and I, but our children. It's award-winning, offers free shipping and seamless delivery. Happy Helix guarantee lets you rest easily with seamless returns and exchanges. And it also offers a risk-free, customer-first experience designed to ensure that you're completely satisfied, because you must have good sleep. 120-night sleep trial and limited lifetime warranty. And the Helix Sleep Quiz, of course, matches you with the perfect mattress. My wife and I love it. We'll never go back. Go to helixsleep.com/Benny for 27% off site-wide. That's helixsleep.com/Benny for 27% off site-wide. And make sure you enter the name of our show after checkout. Know that we sent you. helixsleep.com/Benny. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Trump promising swift retaliation for drone attacks on U.S. embassies. The U.S. embassy in Saudi Arabia was hit by a drone attack. Thankfully, as far as I know, there was no lives lost in this attack. Guys, we don't have a ton of time here, but yes, if the admiral's back on, let's go ahead and just pop this up here. The U.S. Embassy in Riyadh. I just wanted to cover this very quickly. We have, again, this was all the news last night. It's a nice looking embassy, and it was on fire last night. A lot of chaos, a lot of carnage in this region right now. Something that we wish for your prayers for all Americans. There is now a note out from the administration. Let's pop it up. It is on. It's from here. I'll send it to you. From Stephen Chung, White House Comms Director. Just wanted to put this up as a matter of fact. Please run this information on your screens and socials to get this information out to the people in the region looking for updates on travel. Media request from Stephen Chung. He's the White House Communications Director, Special Assistant to the President. Americans in the Middle East who need consular assistance can call the U.S. Department of State. Here's the number on your screen right now. If you are, and here's also the Department of State site where you can get this information. So, I guess doing our part, make sure that Americans are safe in the region. Ladies and gentlemen, somebody who has made sure Americans are safe in the region by serving in our military honorably, also by being a bit of an expert on Iran and the people of Iran, is the great Admiral Harward, who joins us live again right now. Team tells me he's ready to go. Let's go. Hi, Admiral. Welcome back. Just tends to happen. Again, we always blame the communists. Do I gotcha? Do I have you, Admiral? Can you hear me? Admiral Harward? Okay. Well, we're just going to have to try again. Okay, we're just going to have to try again, maybe. This, later this week. It is what it is. Sometimes it happens. We did want to preview for you some of the fascinating moments inside of the deposition Epstein deposition from Hillary and Bill Clinton. Remarkable. Hillary Clinton loses her mind and storms out in rage over Epstein deposition because of us. And what did we do? Well, we literally just put up a photo of Hillary Clinton. Look at that face. I mean, look at that. Oh, my gosh. And we've long speculated that Hillary Clinton was a battle axe. Some people call her a wildebeest. All we did was put up a little photo. Here's the post. It's a teeny photo. That's it. It's a post of Hillary Clinton doing her thing. Lauren Boebert sent it to me. She said, look, it's Hillary Clinton. And I said, oh, wow, can I post this? And Lauren says, yeah, sure. Little did we know what a psychotic meltdown this led to. Here we go. Now that the clips are out. This is great.
I went to the fundraiser to support my friend Nia Lowy.
All right.
Excuse me, can I interrupt?
I have
There
another.
are photos that are being released of the secretary as she is testifying from inside this room. Can you please advise me as to whether or not that's permissible and consistent with the rules, particularly given that we have asked for a public hearing? If there are photos that are being released of the secretary as she is testifying, can you please explain how that
I'm
can
done
occur?
with this. If you guys are doing that, I am done. You can hold me in contempt from now until the cows come home. This is just typical behavior.
We will go off the record.
Oh, for heaven's
So I would like
sake.
to understand how that's permissible.
It doesn't matter. We all are abiding by the same rules.
I will take that down.
Yeah,
So
well.
I would like to take a break at this moment.
Yeah,
and I'd like to have
I'm
a
done
conversation.
for now.
Go off the record. Go off the record.
Well, we didn't take it down. We didn't take it down. Nope, still up. Sorry. Sorry, Hill.
Such a nasty
No.
woman.
Such a nasty woman. Thank you, Klein. Yes. Sorry, lady. Boy, you can see that in the rage, though. Pop that back up on screen. Look at these facial expressions. Goodness gracious. I mean, just the, it's funny how it's just right underneath the surface. And I'm an emotional guy. Let me tell you what, I'm not going to cry, right, in a movie theater or anything. But we live the news cycle with you. Sometimes, we're very, very energetic. We're screaming on the show. I've told Mom to scream. We can definitely get our hot under the collar, as they say. But when you can go from zero to literally shrieking, you're on camera, you're on camera and you're shrieking and you're screaming. I mean, look at these expressions. Let's go. Look at this. I mean, look at this. This is a sign of someone who's just really not with it. Just the stills. The screaming, the quivering lip, the sneering, the snarling. Ugh. Lost it. Klein, gotta have that chat up. Sorry, chat. Put the chat back up. Ooh. Man. Just yelling. Just yikes. Okay, ALX, did we sharpen these clips? We sharpen these clips? Obviously we don't have all the time in the world here. I want to just get to the one other meltdown. She had one other meltdown on Howard, questions about Howard Lutnick, which is a legitimate question. Howard Lutnick is in the Epstein emails, something that Howard Lutnick needs to answer for, in the Epstein emails saying, hey, Epstein, come to this private fundraiser with Hillary Clinton. We don't know if he went to that fundraiser. We don't know. But Howard Lutnick's inviting Jeffrey Epstein to a private dinner with Hillary Clinton. It's a fundraiser. And, the guy now works in the Trump administration. Again, something that requires explanation. But, Hillary's asked about this. It's a legitimate question. Boy, listen to her just lose her freaking mind here.
I know Howard Lutnick because when I was senator, on 9/11, the firm he headed, Cantor Fitzgerald, suffered the greatest loss of life. As I recall, something like 650 of his employees were murdered by terrorists that day. Howard Lutnick missed being a victim because he was delayed dropping his child off to kindergarten. You asked the question. I'm going to answer your question.
Now you're gonna yell
This
at
was
me?
what I spent
You're
my
going to yell at
time
me.
doing.
I'm a
I
survivor
spent
trying to look out for other
Well,
survivors, trying to
and
keep an
I
eye
was
on
taking care
You
of
waited
the
6
people
months
who
to
lost
get here today.
3,000
6 months,
lives
and now you're being
at World
defiant
Trade
and
Center.
indignant today.
You asked me
I have
about
met
Howard
with Epstein
Lutnick.
survivors. I'm a survivor myself.
Goodness, Nancy Mace. Again, look at the expressions. You know you're you're on camera. What does Shakespeare say? The lady doth protest too much. The rage that's just bubbling under the surface. Look at that. Goodness gracious. Yikes, lady. Woof. Buzz. Your girlfriend. Anyway, there are multiple instances like this. Lost her damn mind. We have Bill Clinton lying under oath. Here's Bill Clinton straight up lying. I mean, I don't know. Can you hold him in contempt for this? Have a listen.
First question I have for you, Mr. President. Have you ever lied in a deposition?
No.
Have you ever lied while under oath?
No.
But, dude, you were impeached for lying under oath. That's a part of the historic record. You were impeached for lying under oath. Okay, moving along. What do you think about Jeffrey Epstein's suicide? Was Jeffrey Epstein suicidal? Let's go. This one, I think,
You
is
personally and directly.
absolutely shocking.
Do you believe that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself?
Are you asking him to speculate on how Mr. Epstein died?
I'm asking what the president thinks of.
So you're asking his opinion?
Mr. President, was your friend Jeffrey Epstein
Are you
suicidal?
classifying him as a friend who he has testified that he was
has
friendly?
called him a friend in a letter.
He said he was friendly, but not. You've asked for his testimony.
Mr. President, do you believe that Jeffrey Epstein was suicidal?
Do you know?
Was he ever
She's asking for the
suicidal?
best of your
I
understanding.
don't know. I only know what the medical finding was.
Listen to this.
I think maybe
That's it.
he finally got caught. And
What is that? Whoa, 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 whoa. So Lauren Boebert's there going, did Epstein kill himself? And Bill Clinton goes, finally got caught. Finally got caught. It's just like the Bill Gates clip. All these guys, when they talk about Epstein dying, when they talk about like this death that led to Jeffrey Epstein's neck being broken in 3 places, right? Something that you literally physically can't do to yourself. All these guys, they have all this, they sneer, they giggle, they laugh maniacally. Look at that. I think he finally got caught. But I thought you didn't know anything that was going on, Bill.
I think maybe
That's it.
he finally got caught. And
Wow. What an
I don't
admission.
know. I've accepted it in my own mind. I don't know what happened,
Mr. President, what did you accept? That he killed himself or that he did not?
but he did. But I don't know.
Yes, sir. Thank
And
you,
neither
Mr.
do you.
President.
We don't. None of us know.
None of us know. Isn't that wild to have a president just admit that? None of us know. None of us have any idea. Not even Jeffrey Epstein's like best butt buddy, Bill Clinton, knows what happened with Epstein's death. Bill Clinton, do you like them young? As we have put up many, many times, Bill Clinton likes them young. That's what Jeffrey Epstein said. That's inside of the court documents. That's in DOJ documents. That's been released to the public. And Bill Clinton is asked about it, and a remarkable exchange here.
Witnesses who testified in the Epstein cases that Epstein said, you quote, like them young. Why would Epstein say that about you?
Are you asking his opinion? You're asking him to think about why Mr. Epstein would say
Correct.
something
Why would
about him?
why would Epstein say that
So
about
she's
the
asking you
president?
to try to be in Mr. Epstein's mind and guess at what Mr. Epstein would have thought about.
Clinton likes them young, referring to girls.
First of all, that's not true.
What's not true?
That I have any interest in underage.
I didn't say underage. I said young.
But it's still not true.
Is an intern young?
Yes.
Okay.
At my age, anybody younger than I am.
Did you
is
know
young.
Jeffrey?
Is an intern young? Now look at this at the very end.
Anybody younger than
Look
I
at
am.
a coffee cup. Ooh, we're missing just the right. Let's see if you can isolate that, Ashley. Or he does the Anthony Fauci thing, right? He does the thing where it's like handshake. It might be, he's like 80. It might be an age thing. But look at the way the coffee cup is going like that. Either he's nervous, and we know he's in very poor health.
Right? Yes.
Okay.
At my age, anybody younger than I am.
Did you know Jeffrey?
Ooh, okay. You can see the coffee cup. See if we can isolate that. Go, Ashley, go! Anyway, the point is that, like, well, great line of questioning. Do you like them young? That's not true. But, bro, yeah, I mean, what do you want from me? We all know what you were doing with the 20-year-old intern. We all know why they gotcha. We're all aware of the evidence. Just say. Yeah. And what do you mean you don't like them young? And what do you mean that's not true? Like the core of your entire story, like part of American history, is you and Monica Lewinsky. Is an intern young? Yes. Great line of questioning. Look at how he's actually humored by this.
That I have any age.
I didn't say underage. I said young.
But it's still not true.
Is an intern young?
Yes.
Okay.
At my age, anybody.
If you're ever in one of these situations, then if you're ever in one of these situations, like, listen to the way that Bill Clinton, having to answer this question, audibly swallows, right?
Guess at what Mr. Epstein would have thought about.
Clinton likes them young, referring to girls.
First of all.
Hear that? Hear that? It's just a little tell. You watch enough of these things, you watch enough of these liars, you can see it. Yep. All right. So, yeah, health rapidly deteriorating, hand shaking during the whole thing. And this is the clip that's going the most viral, probably, is Bill Clinton straight up having nostalgia for his gooning. Bill Clinton going through photos of him in hot tubs with young chicks. And his attorney tries to take that away from him, and Bill's like, no, give me that back. Straight up nostalgia. Straight up, all for the memes. Bill Clinton doing it for the memes. Live. Here we go. Gonna need audio on this. Do not have it. This is Bill looking at the hot tub photo, the famous hot tub photo, and he demands it back. And he says, give me that.
Okay.
Bill! You dog! Even his own lawyer's like, give me
Mr.
that
President,
back!
we
Look at
have
him!
About 5 minutes remaining in the majority's first hour, so I just want to
Look
ask
at him.
you some questions related to the crimes committed by Mr. Epstein
Filthy
and Ms.
animal.
Maxwell.
Okay. All right. Enough. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. A nightmare. You can find a lot more clips online. You can find a lot of them on our X account. We've done some reads. They are like 4, 5, 7 hour depositions. So there's a lot to go through. Huge shout out to the production team here. The great ALX and his team, in order to clip and get all of the fascinating nuggets out of there. I think the whole thing is actually quite fascinating. There's a lot of lies in that, but there's no lies in this. Masa chips are good for you. Masa chips are delicious. Masa chips are made with 3 all-natural ingredients, and that's why they taste and make you feel so good. That's why Masa chips are available on my kitchen table. If you come over to my house for dinner, chances are like 80%, depending on what we're cooking, that you're going to have Masa chips. My kids love them. They're made from corn. They're made from beef tallow. They got some salt on them. That's like straight up what they are. They're good for you, and don't make don't make any mistake when you're out buying your own chips. Like, I'll go look at the ingredients. A lot of these other chips are like straight up gasoline, right? Don't feed that stuff to your kids. I have a very choosy wife, and she chooses Masa. They come in a lot of different delicious flavors. Ladies and gentlemen, give Masa a try. Go to masachips.com/Benny. Use code Benny for 25% off your first order, or simply click the link in the video description and scan the QR code. Claim this delicious offer you don't feel like ordering online, Masa Chips is now available nationwide at your local Sprouts market. All right. What are the chances? What are the chances that the Ayatollah's regime will collapse by June 30th? Let's go ahead and check. Will the Iranian regime fall by June 30th? 40% chance. It was up to 50 a couple of hours ago. It was up 24%. It's just, well, crowdfunding what people believe is going to happen. I think it's a good thing. And I think there's like a difference, and I think you can separate these two things. Is it a good thing that this regime collapses? Yes. Is there going to be major struggles from here to then? Yes. And afterwards? Yes. And this is why we pray about the things we can't control. This is why we pray about the things that are not in our control. And we lock in with our verse of the day from Isaiah 41:10. So do not fear, for I am with you. And do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Isaiah 41:10. Do not fear, ladies and gentlemen. There's going to be crazy stuff that happens in this life. There's going to be wild stuff that happens in this world. And it's tough. It's tough because you don't understand a lot of it. But all things work for those who love the Lord. God created the whole world. He doesn't need us. He's God, right? He's all-powerful creator. Why would he create us? For a purpose. He creates you for a purpose. You have a purpose. You were knit together, every hair on your head numbered. And so don't fear. God's got you. God's got us. He will uphold us and strengthen us. Pray for that this morning. March with us on to victory. You know it. It's your boy Betty. See ya.
Beep, beep, bye, bye, bo, bo, bum. Looking mighty now, here she comes. Devil with the blue dress on. She's the devil with the blue dress on. Lord have mercy. Not too skinny, she's not too fat. She's a real come singer and I like her like that. The devil with the blue dress. All right.
Any show where the truth gon' be, faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. From the speeches to debates, Benny sharp like a blade, cutting through the lies, watch the truth cascade. With the warrior's heart, this man never fades. You know it's prime time when Benny invades. From saving the nation to stories untold, the Benny Show's a storm, see the truth unfold. Stay in the loop, let freedom take hold. Salting all the libs, soul never sold. It's the Benny Show, where the truth gon' be, faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. Liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Liberty to light. Bringing liberty to life. From the speeches to debates, Benny sharp like a blade, cutting through the lies, watch the truth cascade. With the warrior's heart, this man never fades. You know it's prime time when Benny invades. From saving the nation to stories untold, the Benny Show's a storm, see the truth unfold. Stay in the loop, let freedom take hold. Salting all the libs, soul never sold. It's the Benny Show, where the truth gon' be, faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light.